Hey everybody, welcome to the Cindy Donaldson Show. I am your host, Cindy Donaldson. I'm a certified high performance coach, bucket list obsessed, serial entrepreneur, live full time in my RV, and I am on a mission to ensure that everybody in my circle understands that they can do, be, and have anything in life that they want if they want it badly enough and are willing to put the work in on themselves so they can create and live an incredible life by design. I know that phrase is so overused in many circles, but it is truly how I live my life and live into my purpose daily. So I want to share a story because I had a huge kind of revelation aha moment this past weekend. On Friday, I had the honor of being one of the speakers at the Women in Banking seminar for the Connecticut Bankers Association. And I love this organization. I love this event. I've been several years in a row now. And 2 of those years, I was one of the speakers. Even during COVID, we had to do it via Zoom, but I was incredibly honored and grateful to be asked to come back and speak live on stage. My topic was stepping into genius. And I'll get back to that in a minute. But what I really want to share is, kind of how I approach public speaking. I've always been incredibly comfortable with a microphone in my hand, doing this kind of stuff, doing podcasts and public speaking and training. It just always came naturally to me, and I never had anxiety over it. Like I never get the jitters. I get the adrenaline rush before I go on stage, but not afraid. Like I don't ever feel like I'm going to throw up in a bag or I'm going to mess up because I don't worry about it. I really do my speeches off the cuff. So a couple weeks before I was to present at this program, I was asked for a slide deck and I was like, oh man, like I don't have anything prepared. Like I don't prepare my speeches. I have topics that I'm an expert in and I can easily talk about. They're on my website, but I don't have canned presentations. That gives me anxiety. The same reason I can't work off a teleprompter. It gives me anxiety. Why? Because I could lose my spot. And so the way that I do these things is I really get engaged in the program. So a lot of speakers, and no judgment on them, will come in, do their segment for the program and leave. Where I like to attend the whole thing. So for the Bankers Association, I went the night before to the cocktail party and I got to really talk to people, see kind of what they're struggling in their what their struggles are in their life, in their business, what they do. And you learn so much at the bar over a glass of wine. And this program, they actually have a mashed potato bar. I know it was amazing. So I just work the room, not to sell, but to learn. So I was asked a couple of weeks ago to do a slide deck, and I was like, all right. So literally, what I did is I went to my phone, I grabbed like 6 pictures, I added some words to it, and I said, all right, this is it. And I was the person that kicked off the event. So I get up there, got everybody excited. And the night before, I was like, I'm going to call you out and I'm going to call you out. And I really get the audience engaged and I go off on tangents. Like I just kind of speak from the heart. And a couple times, because my ADHD really kicked in, I get excited about this stuff and it's just really fun for me. And I literally started a sentence and then my brain went someplace else because there were two other people there, two of the other sponsors who were Disney girls, and they were talking about going to Disney. And one was sharing that they wanted to, run a race there. And I had done the Dopey Challenge. And so my brain started going down that rabbit hole. And when that was done, I was like, I said out loud, like, I forgot what I was talking about. And of course, half the audience was like, you were talking about this? I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. So I really do go with the flow and I don't get stressed out if I messed up. Because to me, it's not messed up. I'm having a conversation with 300 or 400 people, 10,000 people, like it doesn't matter to me. Fast forward a little bit to what I was talking about. The content was stepping into genius, and I was sharing that most people in the world live every day kind of uninspired, and their career really doesn't align with what their deep purpose is. But when you can gain clarity, and I talk about this a lot, when you can gain clarity about who you really are and what your purpose is, and when you can truly step into your genius, then what you do for a living to make money is no longer a job. It just becomes fun. Now, many of you know me from my consulting business, Red Barn Consulting. I've had it for over 10 years. It's been incredibly successful. I am very proud of all the work that I've done. That company was born out of necessity. As a single mom, had to put a roof over our head, food in my belly. I had a lot of debt from, a lawsuit that I was involved with, a marriage that ended. There was a lot going on. And for me, I had just spent 5 years working for somebody else, which was a great break. And it was within the insurance industry. I learned a whole other niche. So I was incredibly grateful for that time, but I really am unemployable. And so I got to a point where the job just wasn't exciting for me anymore. I had done my work. I had gotten the company where they wanted to be. I knew that they were going to sell it. And so they became my first client at Red Barn Consulting. And from there, I started helping other insurance companies. And then I branched into banking. And what I found was I was really good at marketing, operations, and sales. Like I have a left and a right brain. I'm incredibly creative, but I can also see, understand, and live by process. So a lot of ADHD people hate structure, but thrive on structure, if that makes sense. And we're really good at creating structure for other people. Like I am kind of one of those people. It's like, yes, we have all these processes and systems and it makes everything work well, but then I'm not the person that follows it to a T, if that makes sense. So that part of my life was really great, but I was done. And when I launched Red Barn Consulting, I was doing stuff that I knew how to do well, and I made a lot of money at it. Did I love it? Did it fuel my soul? I liked it. I liked it. But what I really loved, the more that I worked with larger corporations and the more that I worked with teams, I loved the coaching, the mentoring. I loved speaking at events. I loved doing all that other stuff that was really considered fluff. Now, I've always had those kind of things on my website, but I never really identified as a public speaker and trainer. In fact, I just got my coaching certifications a couple of years ago. I was like, okay, it was kind of a whim. It was, in the midst of COVID. And I was like, people really need this. And I've been kind of dabbling in it for a while. And I thought I'd really taken the next step. I created a whole new website. I did a whole bunch of branding. I really kind of phased out a lot of my business consulting stuff, moved towards my group coaching, started this podcast, got rid of my old podcast, and really thought I had taken that leap into the next version of Cindy until Friday. So as I was at this conference, Thursday night, some pretty critical things happened. There were several people that came up to me that night, and people were like, "Oh my God, crazy Cindy's in the house." Now, most people would take offense to that in a professional setting. Me, I just loved it, gave them hugs and kisses, and like, "Oh my God, yes, crazy Cindy's in the house," right? That is totally me. Like, I don't apologize for my crazy. I admit to my crazy, and I am loud and proud, and I'm okay with that. And so that was one thing. Secondly, countless people came up to me and said, "Oh, I was in your class last year or this year, or I saw you speak, or I listened to your podcast, or I'm on your email list. And you have had such an impact on my life. I have made drastic changes in my life because of you. You have inspired me to do this. You've inspired me to toss my name in the hat. You've inspired me to leave a bad relationship. You've inspired, you've inspired, you've inspired." And at the moment, I was just like, "Oh my God, that is so amazing." And I gave out tons of high fives. I'm like, "You go, girl, like keep at it. Keep following those dreams." And then the next day, again, I kicked off the program and I spoke for an hour about all of this, like living into your purpose, not letting somebody else, dim your sunshine, understanding that time is finite, yet you are never too old. And if you want something badly enough, and you're willing to put in that effort, you can have anything you want. You want to be CEO of the bank? Toss your name in the hat. Will you get it this year? I don't know, but you tried. And if you want it badly enough, you will get there. The people that don't get what they want out of life don't understand the concept of manifestation, of mindset and how to manage that. Having a growth mindset versus a limited mindset. People with a growth mindset check that shit off their list over and over again. They want something, they get it. They become relentless. They become focused. And when you have that clarity, the universe starts giving you what you want because you are intentionally looking for it. And when the universe shows you things that you don't really want, you don't even notice. You just keep running on by. So I spent an hour doing all of this. Afterwards, people came up to me, "Oh my God, you made me cry. It really got me thinking about my life. I had all these selfies. Nobody asked me for an autograph." So I actually had a client ask me that today. "How'd you do?" I'm like, "Oh, it was really great. Did you get autographs?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I didn't get any autographs. I didn't give any autographs." But the point is, the words that I say, what I put out to the universe slapped me in the face so hard on that Friday that I couldn't sleep that night. And I really, really started thinking about, like, what am I doing? Right? Like, so again, I've never identified as a public speaker. I have it there. I never really hit the speaking circuit big because I was like, is that something that I really want to do? I was unsure, right? And I don't think I had done it enough and really paid attention to the feedback. I thought it was cool. Ooh, people like the way I speak. Oh, I got 5 stars. Ooh, someone sent me an email like that. You were amazing. But I never looked really to the bigger picture. Tune in Saturday morning. I have my mentoring call with my longtime business mentor slash life coach slash bartender slash minister slash whatever he is. Like he's the person that like can clearly see when I'm holding myself back. So I was sharing all my excitement and he was just kind of silent. And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Cindy, I have been telling you since the very first day I met you that you are a quantum speaker. You just don't show up there and um, read off a PowerPoint. You don't have canned speeches. You can, if somebody came up to you and said, the keynote speaker just canceled, can you hop on stage? You'd say, sure, what do you want me to talk about? And you grab the microphone and go. Like you wouldn't even think about it. Like this does not give you anxiety. So you don't do that. Beyond that, like people walk away from your workshops and your speaking engagements with a list to do and they actually do it. Well, 100% of them, no, 100% don't. But a majority of the people take the words that you say and they think. They leave there, they think. Some of them don't sleep that night. I've gotten that feedback like, "Oh my God, like, I had to have 5 gallons of coffee this morning because I couldn't sleep last night." I'm like, "Oh, are you okay?" She's like, "No, like in a really good way. Like you've made me really think about my life in a different way that nobody else ever has." And I'm inspired to take some massive action. It's like, I've been telling you this from day one. Like, and he's always saying to me, he's like, "Cindy, people just need more of you. Like when you show up, you inspire people. Like this is your gift. And you're doing the world a disservice if you don't do more of it." And, he's been preaching shameless self-promotion, like, getting comfortable with it and just doing it and stop overthinking it. Like it doesn't matter if the lighting isn't right. It doesn't matter if you're in pajamas when you speak on social. Like it doesn't matter what you wear. Like people don't care. And the people that do judge you for those things, they're not your audience. And will you get haters? Yeah, yeah. But like I always say, when you put forth to the universe your true authentic self, the magic happens. It happens in a big way. And why I didn't really see this about myself is mind-boggling. Like I've always known I was good at it and I've always known that it was fun and it was easy. And I've known that people have enjoyed what I've done. But I never really thought that I was stepping into my genius when I got on stage. That what I'm doing here, you know, do a lot of people like listen to my podcast? I don't have millions of followers, but I've never really promoted it either. Like, yeah, it's on my website, but I don't really promote it. Like, I don't really do marketing around this kind of stuff. Like, I obviously do marketing for my coaching programs I make money off that and it's great. But that's should be second to this kind of stuff, to talking and sharing my words. So, I mean, I'm sharing this vulnerable, message with you to one show that even people that do this stuff for a living, it's really hard to see the roadblocks in yourself. And shameless self-promotion is really hard for most people, unless you're a narcissist, right? Then it's very easy. Like we're, especially women, conditioned to not, you know, tell people how great they are and tell people their talents and really feel comfortable and proud of who we are. We hold back on so many levels, and that's so sad. Like I think about, the fact that I really do believe that I have 40 more years in me to go do what I need to do. And I think like the last 40 years from my 20s, my early 20s until now, I'm 61, have been such a growing period of me learning about myself. So I could launch, I could go, I could be me. And that's the secret. That's the secret of stepping into your genius. When you can make money, and Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, talks about this stuff all the time, right? Like when you wake up in the morning and you get excited to do something, and when you can't fall asleep at night because your brain isn't won't shut off in a really good way, and you get fired up doing what you do, and you can make a shit ton of money doing it, like that should be everybody's goal. Like being in a job that doesn't serve you, being in a relationship that doesn't serve you, when there's so much else you can do just by letting go of societal norms and the fear of judgment of others. I talked a lot about that on Friday. Like fear of failure is bullshit. It's because if nobody knew about fear of you failing, you wouldn't care. It is truly the fear of judgment of others. And I am not immune to that, obviously, because I haven't really put myself out there to share this gift that I have that obviously is helping people, right? It's obviously helping people. And I'm happy to help people through my podcast, and I'm happy to help people through my speaking game. Like it warms my soul. Like that is my purpose. That is my gift back. Like I have learned so much in my 61 years through the shit show that has been my life, my crazy life. I mean, I've had it all. Bad abusive relationships, bankruptcy, a lot of money, no money, self-doubt, low self-confidence, mommyhood, empty nester, finding love again. But I've been through it all. I've launched so many companies. Some have failed, some have made me a lot of money. Like the list goes on. Like I have a lot of scar tissue. And by sharing my story with others, one, it makes people feel like they're not alone, right? They're not alone. And that being vulnerable and sharing what you're afraid of isn't a bad thing. It doesn't make you a weak person. It makes you a curious person, right? Like the only way to fix who you are, not that you're broken, but to fix the things that are holding you back is to acknowledge them in the first place. Talk to somebody else, work with a coach, work with a mentor, work with your best friend, whomever is a really positive person in your circle that will elevate you versus continue to hold you back. But you have to have that self-realization that there's certain things in your life that you aren't doing to get you to where you want to go. And for me, it was holding back with this you part of shameless self-promotion and recognizing that this is my gift to the world. And that, yes, I am doing a disservice by not getting on more stages, by not sharing all. And again, I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. But for the people who connect with me, I can truly have an impact on their life. Now, I don't pretend to change people's lives, but I absolutely give them the tools and show them the path so they can change their own life. Nobody's going to come and save you. This is all on you. Stop making excuses as to why you can't get someplace. Like it's the timing's not right. I hear that all the time. When the timing is never going to be right for the uncomfortable. It's never. Like, I hear people say this, well, it's not the right time to have kids. I'm like, trust me, it's never a right time to have kids. Like being a parent is really hard. Getting in a new relationship is really hard. putting yourself out there as your true authentic self is really hard. Getting a new job is really hard. Leaving a bad relationship, like all that stuff is hard. If you don't like the hard, then you are going to be in a place where you've always been. And some people, that's fine. That's what they want to do. Gary Vaynerchuk, I was listening to a clip of his, I think on TikTok or something, and he said, if you don't want to forward yourself and if you don't want to put in the hard effort to get in that uncomfortable zone and do the shit that you don't know how to do and learn new things and meet new people and push yourself, then opt for a simpler life. And that's okay. Go live out in the country, live in a farm, live off grid, do the simple thing. That's okay. And he always also preaches that happiness isn't tied to money, that he's met a lot of incredible, wealthy people who are miserable and people who live off $40,000 a year that are happier than a pig in shit. And I've met those people too. In fact, the wealthier people that I've met are less happy than the people that don't have money. The people that don't have money often think that money's going to make them happier, right? And the really wealthy people feel like they never have enough money because they were in the space, not all of them, but they were in a space where, they didn't have money and they came into money and they've worked really hard and they don't know how to stop and say enough and just enjoy their life. So the answer is like money is not the answer. This isn't about like becoming a high performing person isn't about money. And it's not even about career success. It's about understanding how to live into your purpose every day, how to have work-life balance, how to have amazing relationships, how to take care of your health, and do it all at the same time, living into your purpose. And my huge aha moment was that I've been coaching around this living into purpose. I talk about it and I thought I was, and I was to some point, but trust me, I wasn't. And so I made some huge decisions that I'm not going to play small anymore with this. I'm not going to dabble. I'm going to revamp like my marketing and revamp my website to focus on this and do more about getting out there and telling my story and making an impact and helping people really understand that their life doesn't have to be the way it is now if they want to change. I will give them the tools to change. I will inspire them and teach them that no one is going to come to save them, that it is 100% on you. And another person can't make you happy. A new job can't make you happy. $1 million can't make you happy. Like you have to make yourself happy. You have to do the work on you. You have to be honest with yourself on what brings you joy. Like what could you do to make money where it doesn't feel like a job? My aha moment. My aha moment. And I haven't really been able to stop thinking about this since Friday. I haven't. I haven't. When people stand up and applaud you, like after you are done doing whatever you're doing, and they hug and kiss you and want to take selfies with you and give you the feedback that not only were you great on stage, but that they walked away with something that could potentially change their life for the better. And that they've made a decision in that moment to take action. That's living into your purpose. So my homework for you this week is to really think about that. What is your purpose? And if you're struggling with it, that's what my 12-week Courage Formula Foundations is all about. We take 12 weeks to kind of break this shit out and help you understand what brings you joy, what's holding you back, what habits are messing with your head, how to gain more confidence, how to walk in to the HR department and throw your name in a hat when you don't have one thing that they're looking for, that it's a job that you know that you would love to have and you would crush it. Throw your name into that hat. In fact, at the Bankers Association, not this year, but last year or the year before, they had an entire panel of CEOs. Every single one of them never thought that they would be a CEO, but an opportunity presented itself and they threw their name in the hat. Several had like, it was several of them. It was just a long shot. They're like, I'm just going to throw my name out. Like, what do I have to lose? And now they're bank presidents, CEOs. Now, that may not be what you're looking for, but they trusted their intuition enough to just, and they didn't worry about the fear of judgment of others. So if they didn't get it, who cares? They still have a great job at the bank. But now people know, and the universe knows, and their brain knows that, hey, this is something I'm open to. So if you don't get it this year, keep throwing your name in the hat. Keep throwing your name in the hat. But I love, there was a woman that came up to me while we were eating lunch, and she said she had been to a couple of my programs and follows my emails and stuff. And she said, I'm putting out to the universe, I'm telling you right now that I want to get on that stage. I want to be a speaker at this event. I'm like, and I can't remember her name. So if you're listening, I'm so sorry. But I was like, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go talk to Kim, and she handles all of the programming here. And you're going to tell her that you want to be a speaker at this event and pitch it to her. I was like, can I guarantee you're going to be on the stage next year? No, but you're going to keep tossing your name in the hat. You're going to keep pitching until you get what you want. If it's that important to you, I will see you on that stage one day. There was another person that I'm like, my girl Jackie, I hope you're listening. But, I was like, you should get on that stage. Like, you have so much to offer. You've been in this industry forever. You should be on that stage, and you're an incredible public speaker. I was like, go throw your name in the hat, girl. Throw your name in the hat. So that's my homework for you. Throw your name in the hat. Even if that hat is you, start investing in you. Take the time to figure out who the hell you are and what you want out of life. If you want simplicity, go live in a farm off grid in the middle of nowhere and live out your happy life. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I actually kind of have best of both worlds, right? Like, I can just drive my RV out to the middle of nowhere and live my best life and still do this stuff. So yay me on that. But if you are really, kind of frustrated in your career and you want more out of life, you got to do the hard. You got to do the hard. And if you're not willing to do it, then you're either going to be constantly frustrated, or again, go live out in the middle of nowhere where it's incredibly simple. And the only thing you have to worry about is keeping a roof over your head, food in your belly, and that's it, right? Back to the basics of human survival. And a lot of people do that, and they could care less what's happening in the rest of the world. And again, no judgment, good for them. So, it's so funny that I really thought that I had figured it all out until I had this aha moment when I was like, I've done all of this work to this point, and I figured out a lot, but I didn't figure it out until then. So I hope that you have an amazing week. I know I have a lot of work to do. I'm really excited about this next version of me. So if you want to learn more about what I do, you can go to my website. It's Donaldson.com. And all of my programs are there. You can learn a little bit more about me. You can grab there's links for my podcast. You can find out on Apple Podcasts. It's the Cindy Donaldson Show. And don't forget to sign up for my email. It goes out twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays. There's tons of inspo and tons of just the shit that's going on in my life, including my RV adventures. So you're going to be seeing a lot of our trip to Alaska, because I'm leaving out of here in 2 weeks in Connecticut to start making that trek. So you'll learn all about that. But anyway, have an awesome day, and we'll see you next week. Bye.